3 different vehicles, and you could probably guess it. There is 3 options here: powerstroke, duramax, or Cummins. And obviously the powerstroke is for Ford, Chevy Duramax, Dodge Cummins, and I would have to say, yep, that's right, the Dodge Cummins. The Dodge Cummins engine is the best engine ever made in the United States of America and possibly the entire world. They are a separate brand from themselves. It's not like Duramax and Powerstroke, which are just created from the brand that they come from. Like, they're usually just, when have you ever heard of like a Duramax airplane, you know what I mean? So Cummins is its own separate brand because they're so popular and they are used in so many different things. Like, they even make generators and just other machines with Cummins. So the Cummins is the best engine you can buy. They are specifically a company for the engine alone. They didn't sell out to Dodge and only make products for Dodge. They still do other stuff. They only just made a Cummins for Dodge, just like Nissan. Nissan even jumped on the boat. They said, hey, like, we could probably buy a certain Powerstroke or a certain Duramax and put it under our truck, but no, they picked Cummins because obviously they did their research and figured out that that is the best brand that they could buy. Not only is Cummins the best brand available and best well known for being in their Dodge Ram pickup trucks, but there is also different engines that they've put in the trucks over the years. Now, I just want to bring up yes, Ford is making a diesel engine for their F-150 and jumping on board with the EcoDiesel with the Dodge that they put. They put the certain Cummins in the Dodge. They don't even advertise that it's Cummins, but it is. And also they put a 1.8 liter Duramax into the Chevy Colorado. So obviously diesels are moving in. Diesels are becoming more of an apparent thing, and for the everyday household, diesels are coming home because they even make diesel BMWs, and obviously they've been making diesel Volkswagens for a long time, but that's having some trouble because they're obviously getting sued and other stuff, but that's for emissions and all this other stuff, not for the reliability of the engine, because diesels do run forever. Now, Dodge Ram has made Cummins in their pickup trucks since the first generation, and the best engine that they've actually put into the Ram would have to be the 5.9 12 valve Cummins that they've had, and best well known actually probably for the 2nd gen Cummins. Later on they came out with the 6.7, but let's specifically talk about the 5.9. When the 5.9 Cummins came out, people were jumping on board with the Dodge Ram, and that's what really brought that brand into existence. And when people say Cummins, they think of, oh, a Dodge, because of that is the engine to get. It's very reliable, it lasts for many miles, and you never have any problems or anything. Once they came out with the 5.9 24 valve, that's the Dodge that had problems. I actually knew a guy that had a 24 valve, and he's selling it because he calls it a money pit. So you can look at Powerstroke, you can look at Duramax, and Powerstroke, obviously they have many different engines. They had like the 6.0, the 6.4, the 6.7. So obviously Powerstroke kept changing their engine because obviously they needed to keep weeding out the problems after problems. Apparently the 6.0 is a terrible engine to get. Even die-hard Ford guys say that the 6.0 is not a good engine to get because of all the problems that it does have. And that's actually why this one YouTuber stayed away from getting a Powerstroke. But anyways, then you look at Duramax. Originally they were Detroit diesel. They had a 6.5 Detroit diesels in their 90s Chevys, and then they teamed up with Duramax, which actually they lost a lot of reputation because they teamed up with a Japanese company, Isuzu, to make that engine. And then Isuzu started copying the body styles of Chevy. It was this whole mismatch. It was terrible. But anyways, yeah, so they came out with the Duramax, the 6.6 Duramax, and then they came out with all these models, same 6.6 Duramax, but different models like LBZ, LLB, and all this other Duramax engine models. And they kept doing that because they obviously started to have a lot of problems too. But if you look at Cummins, okay, they had the 32 valve. They came out with a 32 valve for the Nissan, but before that it was the 5.9 12 valve, 5.9 24 valve for the longest time, over like a 10-year period. Same engine because it was just so good. Everyone enjoyed the engine. Everyone never had any problems with the engine or anything. And then eventually, obviously, Cummins wanted to keep up with the power that the new Powerstrokes and Duramaxes were coming out with. And the Nissan Cummins actually has like a good amount of torque in there. They have like 600 foot-pounds, I'm pretty sure, somewhere around there, like 595 or something. But yeah, so the Cummins obviously had to jump on board with that, with the power increase. So the Cummins comes out with the 6.7, not because the 5.9 had any problems, but because they wanted to jump on the power wagon. And Dodge reference, but they wanted to jump on the power wagon, and when the 6.7 comes out, they're throwing extraordinary numbers on that engine there. Whoa! Who are you?
What's going on, man?
It's the famous YouTuber. Woo! Once the 6.7 inline 6 engine, that even the 5.9 was also an inline 6, once the 6.7 came out, like I said before, it was coming out with extreme amount of power. We're talking 350 to 385 horsepower, which that's already above my gas truck, and torque 610 to 900 foot-pounds of torque, which is ridiculous. Like, I've seen this video that they took a Dodge Cummins. It did have a dually wheel on the back, but it pulled a train. So like, it has enough power to do that, and that's why diesels need to be more widely available, and the price needs to go down. More people need to buy them. Specifically in 2007 to 10, it was like 350 horsepower, and then a couple of years later it's still at 350. They're coming out with the newer engines at higher RPMs, and you're able to get like 385. 2017 comes along, 385 at 900 foot-pounds of torque. So whatever the 2018 comes out, you're probably looking at 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, which is ridiculous on the new 6.7 Cummins. So people do recommend to buy the 5.9 because of the reliability, but if you have the money, definitely get the 6.7 because you're going to be at an increase of power. Because I've looked at the old 5.9s, and honestly the power isn't that much different from my gas truck here. But you're also looking at, like, obviously more than 10 years ago, so obviously even gas trucks, the power is going to go up on those as well, because even just in my year alone, there was a huge power increase from just the regular Vortec engine 5.3 that they've always been putting in these trucks to the new 5.3 that they have in the 2013, this specific truck model. The reason why I brought this famous YouTuber from Pittsburgh into the vehicle today, he has some deep, dark thoughts about the new Cummins 5.9 inline 6. He wants to buy something that's reliable, but also has a lot of power, and, you know, just specifically rolling the black smoke. And he wants to also have a solid axle in the front to be able to throw big tires, because he's going to be buying a Cummins here shortly. So I just wanted to have him here to say his thoughts on the Cummins, specifically the second, third gen era, because that's probably what he's going to buy, and he's going to buy something nice, and he's going to build it on his channel. So what do you have to say about it?
Well, I'd like to say that the number one reason that I'm going for a Cummins in the first place is the fact that they are way more reliable than a lot of other trucks. One big reason is the solid axle. The engine is a lot more tunable. It has a lot less moving parts, so it's more mechanically sound in a sense. I know it has a Class B engine, which is also the same as what some dump trucks have, so it's got a lot of torque and power, which I'll definitely be needing for the videos that we'll be making of going out on the countryside and mudding and such. I'd have to do a little bit more descriptive research before I ever decide what truck I'm going to get explicitly, but I am definitely looking in the market for a Cummins and a diesel, because I'd like to have it for a long time and be able to show my children this is the truck that I decided, this is the truck that I grew up with and I kind of started my YouTube channel with, and I think that'd be really cool to be able to show them.
Well, we both agree that it's the best engine ever made, because you can ask anyone, any car guy, truck guy, whoever it is, you can ask them what is the best engine ever made, and they'll say Cummins every time, because, you know, there is some gas engines that last a long time, but you're looking at just 200,000 miles and that's it. Diesel engines go above and beyond and go way after that, and you can go to 1,000,000 miles easily as long as you properly service it and, you know, just keep it in good condition without it having to rust out. So I'm with my famous YouTubing friend Axe458. His real name is Octavius, and I just wanted to ask him a few questions about what he thinks about the Cummins diesel. Do you agree that that is the best engine ever made?
Agreed.
And what makes you think that that's the best engine?
Say good things about the engine. It's a powerful engine. It's used in a lot of things. Freight trains, it's used for generators, and all that good stuff. It's also a reliable engine. I've seen a video where it's negative 35 degrees. It's a cold start. Cummins engine starts up right away. No problem at all.
Well, there's a guy named Bruder Cummins. He's the most famous guy around here for driving a very nice Cummins. And recently he had to get rid of it. Now we don't know of his plans of him getting another one. Maybe he's going to get the 6.7, who knows. Obviously, well, the one he has now is a 5.9 second gen. So Austin, what are your thoughts about him selling his Cummins, dude? Everyone knew he had one and he was famous in the area for having one.
I mean, it is what it is. He had to sell it, and then he bought another one. His old one wasn't that good. Had problems with it.
He got another one already?
Yeah, the one you just said, 5.9. Very reliable.
But people would argue that other engines are reliable as well.
People would argue about that. The only thing that I think that will compare it to the Cummins is the powerstroke engine.
What about the Duramax?
The Duramax, it's small. If you want speed and everything like that, you just get the Duramax, but it makes the least amount of power out of all of them.
Alright, so thank you for your time, Axe458. Go check out his channel. And that is his thoughts about the Cummins diesel engine.
Peace.
Go!
The way he's making it sound is that I'm going to be having a Cummins by tomorrow to be getting a 2nd gen to get a solid axle and be able to, mainly for kind of like fiscal management, be able to save up the money and make sure that I have it correct.
He's going to try to build a big following because he's going to be putting parts that everyone says in the comments to put on. Let's say like everyone says to do this one thing to his truck, he's going to do it, and he wants to just make this like a truck not just for him but for everybody. And obviously, you know, Cummins has to be the most popular truck, most popular engine out there, and that's what he wants to buy. He wants to show people the best. He doesn't want to settle for like a powerstroke or duramax, that the powerstroke has a lot of problems, or the duramax only has the independent front suspension and doesn't have the capability to run the big massive tires that he's planning to throw on. He lives right next to this farm, but there's this old rusty fence in front of it. He needs something strong enough, like a solid axle, to just smash through that fence, off-road to the top of the hill, and then once it's icy, he'll just slide on down for it, and that's a whole video on itself because he's gonna make like a snow ramp. We're definitely gonna have a lot of diesel videos coming out eventually here soon, and we're gonna be looking at a lot of them, so we're probably gonna bring you guys along for those videos when we look at potential ones to buy, which could be here pretty shortly. And yeah, I'm in the market for one as well, actually, so I'm going to be looking around for different things, start a new project, always something good to do. I'm not done with my truck here, but it's always good to have a fresh start on something else as well, and I want to just, you know, branch out my channel to more than just the Chevy Silverado, because obviously the diehard Dodge and Ford guys want to see something else. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If it's your first time watching my videos, please hit that subscribe and like button. Check my other videos out. Check out his channel. Have a good night. See ya.